All right, let's do this. It's Saturday, 10/22, January the 3rd, 2026. It's going to take a little while getting used to that. So, the drama continues on Planet Crazy. I mean, I could talk for hours about this, but I'll keep it to a couple of minutes at most. You shouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, first of all, he blows up, what, 30, 35 boats? Which he alleges were drug trafficking, but we don't know it because there's no evidence because the boats and the people inside have all been killed. And now, of course, we have a kidnapping of Maduro, which is what it is, on spurious charges. And of course, the usual suspects online are all calling for, oh my God, maybe the market's going to drop quite big on Monday. And the only irony is, no, of course not. Even if the market opens down on Monday, which is, to me, almost doubtful, we should close comfortably positive on Monday. And the usual people, the average person will come on out and be like quite bemused. They'll say, wow, the market's holding out really well considering the bad news, considering the geopolitical shock. Like, no, I refer you back to October 7th, 2023. The market opened down on that day, closed positive. But hey, most people have goldfish bowl memories and they have no memory of anything. Even going back just a year or two, they just don't. So yeah, expect Monday to be settle green again. Not necessarily opening green, but that doesn't matter. Should settle green. I'd be more curious about what the oil does next week, considering. So I don't care what. Again, be quite clear. I don't care whether you like Trump or hate him. I don't care what you think of Maduro. I don't care. Your view is pretty worthless to me. Also, especially your opinion is especially completely worthless to the market. It doesn't care how you feel about it or what you think about it. It doesn't matter. The question you should be holding in your mind is this: Is this a good? This is a good example. Question: Does the market need to adjust Micron guidance? Outlook for EPS and revenue because of Trump Venezuela? Does the market need to adjust earnings guidance for Target or Costco or Walmart or Deckers or United Health because of this? No. So why would anybody call for significant and sustained downside next week? It's ludicrous. It's small-mindedness. It's the notion of a fool. So I look forward to that next Monday. Again, not the open, but seeing how we close, which we should close up. It'd be kind of amusing if we just open up significantly and then just keep going across the day. That would be kind of funny. Anyway, yeah, chart wise, let's start with none other than Lockheed Martin. I actually highlighted this on my Friday evening post. Look at this. Isn't that candle interesting? Early weakness, put in a spike floor and surged. That's a very powerful bullish engulfing candle. So Lockheed settled up 2.8% to 497, which was the best close since, mid-October. Isn't that interesting though? It's almost as if somebody knew that there was going to be some drama overnight Friday, Saturday. Isn't that? It is that, right? Somebody kind of knew. Somebody knew. Now, of course, you can't be bearish for defense stocks anyway, because you have $1 trillion a year of spending. So 497 Lockheed. Let's pull out a monthly chart to give you some perspective on this defense giant. So Lockheed's currently up for a second month. Yeah, 2.77% for the month, of course. Just checking momentum cycle. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, look at that. That's amazing. We're about to see monthly momentum turn positive. for the first time since December 24. So it's been a full year. We're going to turn positive, and we should, in theory, cruise upwards into the spring. That's very good. I like seeing that. Natural target, Upper Bollinger, 555, and then the historic high, 597. I think there's a good chance we'll see 597 by the late summer. Certainly 555 looks possible. Not clearly not this month. February looks a stretch, but maybe in March or April we could be 555, and then mid-year 600. I think we have a good chance of 700 by the end of the summer. By the way, note that candle there. What's this candle? What is this? What is the candle in October 24? It is a bearish engulfing candle with an upper spike showing that the sellers were coming in. And down we went from 597 all the way to 404. That's almost, that's roughly 30, that's a third down roughly, right? Yeah, it's a third. And then off we go again. So short-term bullish, mid-term bullish, and on a long-term basis, yeah, bullish. Can't be bearish for defense companies. On a somewhat related note, Exxon. Look at this. Isn't that interesting? Friday, new historic high Exxon settled up 1.9% to 122s. Friday's candle, bullish, engulfing, just like Lockheed. It's almost as if somebody knew what was going to happen overnight Friday, Saturday, isn't that? There's two conflicting issues here. One, if let's say I'm already hearing the terms viceroy for Marco or what's the other guy? I can't even remember. But anyway, whoever in the U.S. government's going to be quote controlling or administering Venezuela, the aim is clearly, and if Trump stated it today, literally, he wants to get U.S. companies in. Of course, Exxon will be a key player. He wants to get them in to quote take back the stolen oil. It's an interesting term. He's going to take back the stolen oil and the facilities, and he wants them to invest. Which that sounds nice, right? Investing money, that sounds good, and because that means higher supply, lower prices. So ironically, next Monday, something to look out for next Monday, oil prices dropping on the notion that long-term supply will be increased via investment in Venezuela and higher supply. There's a real irony there. But yeah, Exxon, of course, Chevron, much the same. Let's get some perspective on Exxon on a longer term chart. Yeah, look at that. 7 months up of 8. Nearest high, RSI 64. We're not overbought yet. I mean, considering the main market outlook, and even if you consider that oil goes sub $50, which now looks probable, we'll get onto that in a moment. But you can think that maybe this is 140, 150. But yeah, I mean, 150 by the end of the summer looks probable. Momentum. Look at that. Look at that. Momentum did turn positive in December, and now it's increasingly positive. We could tick upwards all the way across all of this year. Easily. Yep. Can't be bearish, Exxon. Yeah, and that links to oil. Where are you? There you are. So actually, let's start with a daily chart for oil. What was Friday's close? So Friday's close was fractionally down. Irrelevant. The weekly close was up 1%, but again, we're midterm bearish from the 92s from late 23. An even wider perspective. I mean, you can see We're currently net lower for a sixth consecutive month. Of course, 126 was Russia moving into Ukraine. And let's even go up of even further, 20-year perspective. Ironically, the 2000, look at this, 2008 is falling off the side of the chart. So the high there was 147 down to 32. And then, of course, we had negative prices briefly in, what was that, April 2020. And then 126. Now we're 57s. Looks like we're going to go under 50. Under 50, let's be quite clear. Under 50, there is nothing much until around 42 to 40, yeah, 42, 43. So if you believe that Trump is going to get a lot more supply online via Venezuela, then you can start looking at $40 oil, well, 43, 42. I mean, I wouldn't expect 30, but $40 oil is now, you can start to talk about that. And again, cheap oil isn't good for the energy companies, but it is an extremely bullish variable for both the US and the global economy. So even though the consumer's broken, the real economy has been in recession for years. Cheap oil is an extremely bullish variable. But yeah, 50 sub $50 oil. You gotta see some of the mainstream hacks like Goldman and JP Morgan maybe start to talk about $50 oil, maybe even as early as next week. But they should be. They should be immediately thinking, hey, look, and I will be surprised if we see oil gap down, take out, or at least challenge the 54s on Monday. I mean, hell, we could even have a little spiral down to test 50. And again, bullish oil. I mean, bearish oil, which is bullish for the economy. What else do I want to cover this sleepy Saturday? Actually, it's really not sleepy. It's kind of dramatic in a way. I don't know. I've covered what I was planning to. Um, hmm. Do I really want to go over gold and the miners again? Oh yeah, the only thing again in terms of gold, actually, I'll cover gold maybe briefly. I mean, look, Trump Venezuela is a geopolitical issue, but it's minor. I mean, you could see gold a little bit higher on Monday. I wouldn't expect much. And this candle is not a great candle. It's the most bearish candle we've seen in a long while, actually. Really. I mean, look at that. $200 down on the week. $200. 200. Again, the higher we go, of course, the bigger bigger the swings in nominal dollars. This should be the issue for will be the issue for next week. Momentum's weakening. I don't expect weekly momentum to turn negative next week, but the following week, as of January the 12th, gold momentum should turn negative. I'm starting to think the 4K looks pretty probable. Of course, under 4K, there really isn't much until 3,500. I honestly don't think 30. I mean, in theory, it's possible because you could argue we haven't seen a proper retrace of any of this. These are just consolidation phases. These are bullish pennants that all played out. So you could draw a fib retrace from here all the way down to say 2K, and then say, okay, maybe we'll come back to 3,500. Honestly, I don't think it's likely. I think 4K is probable based on this 4K. And we'll cover silver. Why not? Because there's a lot of chatter and obsession about silver, which I understand. I get it. Yeah, look at this. In terms of momentum, we're only just started to tick lower. We could tick lower for a couple of months. It's quite incredible. It's just incredible how overbought we are. And that candle is a pretty powerful reversal. And I got to think, I think it will come down to at least $60. Again, that could take weeks. Probably will take a couple of weeks. And you've also, you could, again, like gold, you could draw a fib retrace from the 83s all the way down to, say, 34. And you could even maybe look for 55, 54. And again, what would be the ultimate back test? The ultimate back test would be 50/49. And I accept that looks, that's that's not going to be easy because $20 off 72 is what? That's about 30%. But oh, just thinking about this, it's just I would love to buy back of anywhere under, I mean, anywhere under 60 would be great, but anywhere like 55 to 50 would be to me that would be a screamer of a buy on a multi-month outlook. So yeah, don't get hysterical if we call back all the way to near 50. Again, that's probably going to take, you know, quite a few weeks, probably 4, 5, 6 weeks to get anywhere near. But that would make for a hell of a buyback. I would be, again, ironically, the silver bug should hope for some cooling to buy back some more because we've now had the breakout in October. We printed the 83s. We've already called to, well, settled at 72. We briefly printed 69s. And like, yeah, we can come down to 55, even 50. Uh, and again, that does not mean the main market has to be um, down. You could just, yeah, it's just a retrace, sporadic retraces. You're gonna have to expect them. Like here's one here, right? It's stalled at 54. Why 54? Why not 56? That's just the randomness of the market. We can see that it did hold for 10 MA. So there is a possibility that we only come down to the 10 MA and hold it. Of course, that's not going to be in another week or two. We get down maybe 62, 63. And then that might be all we get. And we could just maybe churn around for a month or two. As someone who wants to buy back, I'm merely the lower the better. Makes for a more comfortable purchase. All right. I think we're done. Um, Monday should be interesting. But Monday's still a long way off. Hell, maybe I'll do a video on Sunday. I don't know. But don't get lost in the hysteria. And we know, for instance, that it's just going to get worse from here, right? In terms of geopolitical events, very bad things are going on. The pathway is a truly dark one, but the market makes for almost a pleasing distraction from the madness of this wretched species. It's just terrible path. All right, you go read around and have a look at all the lunatics calling for a, big drop on Monday. I'm imagining actually, if I'm inclined to, if I had to guess, I guess we will open red on Monday, but I wouldn't bet on it. And two, if we do open red, but in my view, the dumbest trade will be to go short, just chase it lower, just short the open, because the whipsaw upwards, assuming we open red, will be just it'll be brutal for anyone stupid enough to go short. But yeah, entertaining all the less. I will wish you a good Saturday, and who knows what will happen between now and Sunday night. Could be all sorts of interesting, crazy things. Be good.